Ramsey, I'd like to get your perspective on this. In your paper, you make the point that it's not about promoting products, not about promoting services, but about promoting a purpose, the purpose of the cooperative. And you actually cite Simon Sinek's speech, which I love myself. I give it to my MBA students, and I'll just share that with you if you haven't had a chance to read Ramsey's paper. He gives the example of Sinek talking about how Apple markets itself as opposed to, say, Hewlett-Packard or Microsoft. In the case of Hewlett-Packard and Microsoft, they go out to the market and say, hey, look, guys, consumers, we make great computers, and they're beautifully designed and they're simple to use. Why don't you buy one? Marketing by Apple is not like that. They say, look, we are different. They don't talk about having different or whatever. They say everything we do, we believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently. The way we challenge the status quo is by making our products beautifully designed, simple to use and user-friendly. We just happen to make computers. Want to buy one? It's a different way of approaching it. It's not product-driven. And this goes to the role he was talking about. If you're just wedded to your product and you don't know how to market, you're not going to go anywhere. Ramsey, what do you think about this in terms of trying to get that message through to the cooperative movements and some of the things that have just been said?
Well, I want to take it back a step. This morning we heard a lot of people talking about the need for cooperatives to be on the money, to talk about the value that in financial terms that they give to their members. Now, I'm all in favour of that, and I'm very particular in New Zealand. I make a strong point that a cooperative is going to be successful if the members understand where the benefits come from, and a lot of them are going to be financial and some are non-financial. But I've got a gut feeling, and I'm sure a lot of people out there share this gut feeling, that cooperative businesses are trusted and they're preferred over the general investor-owned firm. So the question that I would want to ask is, where does this goodwill come from? And how does it affect how well a co-op does? Now, Alan Robb up the end, I can see you up the back there. He used to have on the bottom of his email signature the quote from Einstein, which was that not everything that counts can be counted, and not everything that can be counted counts. And I think that's a good starting point. This year, as part of the IYC celebrations, the New Zealand Cooperatives Association sponsored some market research into New Zealanders' view of the cooperative business model, as well as wider business and community. And I'm going to read this out. The results were that New Zealanders have lost trust in the integrity and honesty of businesses following the global financial crisis, or we don't call it GFC, and the recent public failures of finance companies in New Zealand. That New Zealanders prefer businesses where those who own it also use it, and that they trust cooperative businesses, cooperatives more than any other kind. So why should this be? I mean, the products and services, really they're no different. From the outside, a cooperative may look like just another business. And I guess we believe that people trust and prefer cooperatives because they're able to relate to a cooperative's cause or its purpose. I think it's what Simon Sinek was referring to. So co-ops are formed when there's a perceived need that's not being met. And it just so happens the co-op may be into organic food or farm supplies or fertiliser or banking or whatever. So when New Zealanders were saying to this research team that they preferred co-ops, they weren't saying that their products or services were better. They're buying into why people have chosen to set up in business as a cooperative. So for me, it's part of a co-op's identity, and it's the driving force, which is why it serves members' needs. So I'm just looking through my little notes here. So, but I mean, as Apple's not a cooperative, but I mean, they've got this really sort of chic marketing message. And I believe every cooperative has a compelling drive to serve its members, and that's why people trust them. So the point is that people don't buy what you do, they actually buy why you do it. So what I believe you need to do from time to time is remind your members that you're a cooperative. Tell your clients that you're a cooperative. Show the competition that you're a cooperative. Tell Australia, tell the world. Let the world know that you're a cooperative. I think it's really quite important. And personally, what better way to do this than get a .coop domain for your business? Now, I've got lots of forms here and I don't want to go home with any, so please come and see me if I haven't already pressed one into your palms. It's because, I mean, cooperative says it's ethical, it's honourable, it's honest, and it's principled. And I think that's a very cool message to be getting across about your business.
And Ramsey, I mean, putting my marketing hat on, building a brand, whether it's Apple or co-ops, people engage. You know, you talk to consumers about, say, their liking for Apple products. It's often not the technology. I mean, you can argue one way or the other, but you open up an Apple, you often find it's HTC, Samsung, you know, there's a lot of other technology inside. But they've been able to put it together in a way that builds an ethos, and they've been doing this over and over and over. So how do we learn from the marketing world to create something? Because you're right, people don't buy products, they buy solutions. They look for solutions, and they might evaluate the costs and benefits rationally, but they buy with their heart. So what's your view? Because you seem to have been more successful in New Zealand than we have in Australia in some ways, in getting a greater buy-in from the community for cooperatives. So what advice could you give to Australians' cooperative movement to get the brand message out there?
I'm not sure that we have been quite so successful as you describe because of the nature of the cooperatives in New Zealand. You've got a very wide range of cooperatives in New Zealand. We have a very narrow range. What I did, the very first thing I did when I took on my role working for the New Zealand Cooperatives Association 6 years ago was to devise a logo which used the .coop branding. And I argued very hard in Washington to the ICANN, the Internet Names, whatever it's called, Internet Committee on Assigned Names and Numbers, that we should be allowed to use nz.coop because a two-letter domain is not generally allowed as a prefix because it's also a top-level domain. Because I wanted to brand the association as nz.coop, and that's what a lot of people call us. Some people call us NZ Co-ops, but nz.coop. So it's branding the cooperative association is what I was very strongly with that doing. And I've been arguing with our members that they need to brand themselves as cooperatives. Now, what comes back to me is very interesting. For some, yes, it's very good, and they do use it. Again, if they see that within their cooperatives there's a particular group that they need to market to, or they need to strongly make sure that they understand it's a cooperative. So for one particular co-op, and I'm not going to name any of them, maybe for one particular co-op, it's their current members. For another particular co-op who are thinking about getting a .coop domain, it's potential members. So, you know, you have to look at particularly who you're looking at. For some co-ops, they'll say to me, actually, it's a negative point trying to persuade our clients or our customers that we're a cooperative, because in Asia, cooperatives has a bad name because they're associated with government bodies that have failed. So it's about horses for courses. It is appropriate for a lot of people to brand themselves as co-ops, but for some, you know, if they want to stay under the radar, what can I do? I can't prize them out.
Okay.